Hello and welcome to Public Speaking Palooza. This is Carma Spence, your host and author of Public Speaking Superpowers. Throughout the month of July, Monday through Saturday, a new guest will be sharing their wisdom around overcoming the fear of speaking and or improving your basic foundational speaking skills. Because if you've got your basic foundational speaking skills down, you can more easily combat your speech anxiety. I hope you enjoy this entire month of wonderful content, including this one coming up right next.
My name is Joel Schwartzberg. I'm a public speaking trainer. I'm also a speechwriting professional for a major nonprofit organization, and I'm the author of Get to the Point, Sharpen Your Message, and Make Your Words Matter. And the focus of what I do is really to focus on what a point is and help people identify their point so they can then sharpen it and then champion it. Because what I found through my years of public speaking training is that people often don't know what a point is. They confuse it with a theme or a title or a topic. And if you don't have a point, then you really render yourself pointless. And it doesn't matter how funny or interesting or charismatic or attractive you are, if you don't have a point to make, a true point, then really you're not going to succeed. You're only going to fail. Knowing your point is one of the few things, one of the handful of things I tell people who are nervous or intimidated by public speaking. Because what is really a fear of public speaking? What does it mean to be intimidated by that? It's a fear of shame. It's a fear that you're going to embarrass yourself. So it's the same as if you're singing in public or doing a magic trick. You're really afraid of making a bad impression and harming your reputation as a result, or having people think negatively of you. But here's the thing. When you give a speech, when you're involved in public speaking, it's not about you. You're not presenting yourself and putting yourself out there. Your job is to take this thing that's external to you, which is your point, and to move that point from here to there, from your mind to your audience's mind. Now, this helps people overcome a fear of public speaking because they realize it doesn't matter how white my shirt is, or how nice my tie is, or how my hair looks today. All that matters is that very almost blue-collar kind of task, which is moving your point from here to there. And when people move that responsibility away from who I am and how I come across in a performance to this job of moving a point, which is a presentation, then you realize that you have a job to do, and that can help mitigate a lot of public speaking anxiety. One of the ways I suggest, one of the exercises that's in my book, and I share it freely all over the web, it's called the I Believe That test. Basically, take what you think is your idea, is your point, and put the words, I believe that, in front of it. Now, here's the first part of the test, very simple. Does that new statement, that new sentence, is that a complete thought? Or is it a fragment or a run-on sentence, something that would not impress your fourth grade language arts teacher? If it is a fragment, say, I believe that podcasting, or I believe that great podcasting, then you have to go back and reimagine it. It is not yet a point. It is only a point when you get to a place where you can say, I believe that podcasting is a great way to reach new young audiences. Now you're stating an argument. You're making a statement that you can support with facts or reasoning or data or evidence. You're on your way to making a point. The next steps are to sharpen it and to champion it. But at least you know you have something that is indeed a point, and you could have impact with that point to your audience. Everybody's talking about storytelling nowadays. There are entire conferences devoted to the art of storytelling and all kinds of communications. And I agree that a good story captures an audience's attention and humanizes yourself to the audience. It really is engaging to an audience because everyone likes to hear stories. But here's the thing. If you're a public speaker, your story is a tool to something greater. Your story is a tool to conveying your point. So if your story does not relate to your point, or if you do not explicitly connect your story to your point by saying, this story illustrates why we must. This story is a great case study in how we need to do X. If you do not say that, or it is not otherwise obvious, then that story serves no useful performance in the main job of your speech, which is to deliver your point. So make sure when you pick a story, when you curate it, it is a great illustration of the point you're about to make, and then be sure to use those words. This story illustrates how. This story is an example of why. Otherwise, that story only serves to entertain, which has very limited, if any, value to the job you have in front of you. Two things I always encourage my students, my clients, and my colleagues to do is to cut down on the number of words they have, for starters. Often speakers will think of their topic or their point as a Christmas tree, and the more ornaments they add to it, the more beautiful and engaging it will be to an audience. Actually, the opposite is true. We all know that less is more, but we need to recognize that more is less. The more words and thoughts and details we add to our point, the more things there are to compete with each other for an audience's attention. And what happens when multiple things are competing with each other? The impact of each is diluted. So if you say, I believe we should do this and that and that and that and that, if I said 100 things, you would know intuitively that's too many. But the same is true for 5 things as it is for 500 things. So the first thing I say is really, I call it avoid split ends. Avoid going in all sorts of directions using all sorts of words. The other thing I counsel people do is to avoid badjectives. A badjective is an adjective that's so broad that it's virtually meaningless. This approach is great. It's terrific. It's fantastic. It's very good. It's important even. The thing is, what's great to the speaker may be different to an audience. You're inserting all of your own personal associations to that word. And you're not really saying anything when you say something is great or very good or important. Always ask yourself, why is it great? Why is it important? Why is it very good? The answer to that question should be the content of your point. This approach will save us money, so we can apply more money to R&D and guarantee a successful future. Now that's a much greater and more precise and impactful ending to your point than, this approach is awesome. Carma, I don't want to be the dentist with bad teeth. I have to illustrate my point. In fact, when I came out with the book, Get to the Point, the publisher requested and required that it be short. Because if I need a 600-page volume to explain to people how to make a short point, then I'm not really doing my job, am I? So one of the things I do to make sure I'm making my point clearly, I do 2 things very deliberately. I'm from New York City. I work in New York City, so I'm naturally a fast talker. That's my biggest challenge. So what I do is I insert pauses deliberately as much as possible. This slows me down. But it does something really much more important than even that, which is it gives my audience time to process what I'm saying. The truth is, and I can't say this often enough, your audience needs twice as long to receive and make sense of your point than you need to say it. It's not a one-to-one moment. The minute I say it, you receive it and digest it. That's not true. So pausing builds in those moments of crucial and critical digestion. The other thing I do is I raise my volume more than I normally would, because I know if I'm speaking at this level of volume versus a more conversational kind of volume, which is around here, that it's very difficult to speak quickly at this level of volume. I know my point is going to be audible and clear because it allows me to articulate better. When you speak lower and faster, you're more likely to mumble and mush those words together. Now, because I'm louder, and because I'm inserting pauses, I'm giving myself time to make and construct my points. I think I'm being more clear. And let me just elaborate, if I could, on that idea of giving myself more time. Often when public speakers convey points, their mouth is going ahead of their mind. So their mouth is talking and the mind is trying to catch up, saying, wait, I need to put those words in order. I need to make sure those are the right words for the point you're trying to make. What we need to do is flip that. So your mind is actually clearing the way and organizing the plate for your thoughts. So your thoughts can come out as precise as possible. That kind of flip can only happen if you're going slowly, which can only happen, at least for me, if I'm inserting pauses and I'm raising my volume a little bit. I love to share these ideas. I love to talk about the value of a point because I don't see it that much in public speaking tutorials and across the web. And the best way to reach out to me or to get more of these ideas, first is to go to www.joelschwartzberg.net. It's JoelSchwartzberg.net. Or another great way is to follow me on Twitter. And I am at the Joel Truth on Twitter.